I would pride myself on.
Jump at every opportunity.
I work on everybody.
Hustling. Yeah.
I work on everybody.
Yeah.
It could be anywhere, anything.
Yeah.
I'm gonna figure it out and make it work.
Yeah.
But that served me. That served me.
For that season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's just not what I am. It's not the pace. It's not the same type of intention.
Yeah.
You know.
Hello there, and welcome to Fridays with Tab and Chance. I am Tabitha Brown, and this is my husband.
I'm Chance, what's up?
And today we have a special guest. I'll let you introduce yourself.
Amen, Joseph.
Oh, very good. We're going to get into it in a minute. But until then, bring the beat in.
Fridays with Tab and Chance. Fridays with Tab and Chance. Babe, it's always one, ain't you? Gotta bring that New York to the table. Look, he ready to scratch.
And if he went into it, I was going to go with the remix.
I know.
I hope I ain't offend you too bad.
No, you did all right.
Welcome to Fridays with Tab and Chance.
Thank y'all. This is my family. Thank you for having me.
Amin is our family. We have known Amin now for
2003 or
No. 2006.
Six.
Yes.
Six.
Yep, 2006.
Yeah.
We moved here in 04. Started acting class 05. I think you started 06.
Yes.
Me and Amin met at acting class. Tasha Smith, T-Salt. Back in the day, the original. Like we was up in there. That's right. And,
On Santa Monica.
Man.
Yeah, in a little bitty, in the complex. A little
Santa
bitty
Monica
room.
and Wilcox.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yep.
I remember the first time seeing him on stage doing a scene. I said, "Oh, he must did theater. He's an old thespian.
You making big choices,
Okay.
brother.
Oh, I see what you did there. Okay, very good. But then Amin was one of the many people that we told y'all about in the past, huh?
That's funny though.
But
you seen him like that. My first encounter was when he came to the house. I was like, "You ain't no actor, Jay Reed."
So that's what I was about to say. So you know
When
we
he
talked
came
about us
in,
having Sunday dinners.
Yeah.
I would invite everybody over. Amin was one of the people up in the Sunday dinners in our little apartment.
Thanksgiving, Sunday dinner.
Everything.
Yeah.
You know, I needed some of them bills. Y'all know that.
Yeah. We was feeding the
Chance was like, yo, who this New York bro coming
dude,
in here eating 3 pieces of shit?
Hey, look, and listen, and quiet and reserved.
y'all know Chance ain't used to trust nobody from New York.
This dude was quiet. That's why I'm like, nah, man. Wear black all the time. I'm like, yo, who this dude?
I always had on something
I thought
new.
y'all told me y'all all the actors always fresh, but but always in the corner.
Like
just
he don't look like he's struggling.
like this dude too quiet, Tab. I don't know about this dude. He too quiet.
Oh, honey. Yes.
Turned out to be good people though.
Good time.
Yes, and here we are all these years later,
Yeah.
and you have had so many successes in your journey. But, I mean, let's talk about the Amin that maybe nobody knows, because a lot of people might know you from Snowfall most recently, although when we saw you last year at Sundance, that film, what was the name of the film?
To Live, Die, and Live.
Yeah.
That was like, we got to really witness you in a whole different light,
Thank
which was
you.
amazing to
Thank
see
you.
your growth.
I called you. I was like, yo, you gotta come see.
Yeah. We there. We coming. But
Thank y'all for that
hold
too.
up.
Thank y'all for that
Hold
too.
up, man.
Thank
We
y'all.
can't we can't. I know we want to go down a different route, but listen,
here you go.
we can't just blow off Snowfall like that.
We was gonna get to it,
Nah,
baby.
but I'm just saying that you look.
But I'm saying that's how a lot of people probably do know him. We was gonna get
Well,
to
I don't care if they know him. I don't like.
He like, I known him before that.
Hey, look, for real. That's why I had to come back to this.
it. Okay.
So I done seen Amin on a whole lot of stuff, right? And we got ties that go way back. And I done seen him on all these things, and I'm like, hey, but Snowfall hit. That's when I start claiming you, boy. I ain't even gonna lie to you. Hey, y'all know he used to.
You know why? Hey, yo, bring it in now. Let's talk. Now we about to talk. What you mean?
I did pull my card. I pulled that card 1,000 times. It's like, hey, dog, Y'all know that dude?
Y'all
right
know
there?
Jerome, Uncle Jerome.
Hey.
That's our boy.
His real name ain't used to be. I was doing all that.
They like, he's from New York.
Yeah, like,
Right, yeah.
Nah, I know him. I Yeah, I was doing that.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. I ain't
This
gonna lie.
dude right here.
That is my favorite thing with you. I ain't even gonna lie. That's it, and that's why I had a proud. I ain't even related to dude.
He was very proud.
I ain't never, but I was proud, boy. I was like, hey,
Thank you,
every
bro.
time, look at Amin, man. That's
Yeah.
hey, boy.
It is a proud moment.
It is.
When it's your genuine, like your friend,
Yeah.
but also when you know where they started, right? You know the work we put in. We know how, as an actor, we know how hard it is to book, to get one role, right? To get a co-star, to get one line. But to book a series regular, to see like, oh my goodness, you see billboards with your friend on it, you be like, he made it. Like it's a feeling that is unexplainable. It's different as a friend, but then as an actor who also has a dream and knows how hard it is, rejection and all that. So when you do see,
it's crazy.
Oh, it's like a double win. It's like, oh, if he made it, I know my day gonna come. Like it's gonna happen. We was in the same class. Like it was just exciting to see
I
and
won't let
inspiring.
nobody listen, dog. I'm the dude when they talk. If they talking about the star, whoever, dog, I'm gonna debate that. Like, hey, but he ain't nothing without Shaq. Kobe, cause he might. Hey, but you.
What about Scottie Pippen? Yeah.
He needed Robert Horry.
You need him.
He hit
Hey,
the game.
hey, listen, I watched the show for him. Like my man holding it down. I can relate, you know.
Yeah.
So hey, man. Before we go any further, I just want to tell you I'm proud
Thank
of
you,
you.
bro.
Hey,
Give
it
you
made
your
me very
flowers.
proud.
That's
Hey,
right.
Thank you.
That right there, just watching you and knowing you from years ago, coming out here on that journey, and encountering you in other places and seeing you with your head down and really coming up missing. Like you come up missing, but like when you ask about Amin, hey man, Amin out there hitting the streets, and you see him, and you like, oh, Amin serious business about this acting thing, and then to see it pay off in that way. And you know, I'm like, hey man.
Thank you, bro.
I'm proud of that.
As we know, this journey it's wild. It's unbelievable. And to have people that share in it with you, that you know. And also we gotta throw another thing in here. Just good people too. You know, humans, flawed people.
Right.
Flawed people that have the best, just good intentions. You know, and to see that come to fruition. Family, we're gonna get into it, but it's special being at this table.
Yes, he has returned. Okay, to the table. But now it would just be vegan food served.
Yeah, that's different.
It ain't wings
That's
and
damn
things
sure
that I'm cooking.
That's very different. But I take it, I know it's gonna slap.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. Though. It's gonna still be good. So let's go back to because a lot of this may be new for us as well. Like little Amin, like where you grew up, how you grew up, and when you knew like entertaining or performing was something you wanted to do.
You know what? It's interesting that you starting with little Amin because I've been dealing. Just as a man, I'm in a season of revisiting little Amin. Because as an adult, as a man, I put a lot of stuff to try to go forward. I put a lot of stuff in the back. And it isn't until recent, like right now, I'm in a season of is unpacking a lot of the stuff that I went through as a boy, perhaps more vulnerable, to make the man that I am today, and me understanding that to realize the man that I want to be now and in the future, you know, to project what I would like to do, some of the dreams that I still want to bring into fruition. So that young Amin, which I've been visiting with, was a clown. I wanted a lot of attention when I was young. My parents split when I was really young. They got divorced when I was about 5 years old. And I kind of grew up, my mother was really sick. My mother's from York, South Carolina. And I just was looking for love. I was looking for attention. And at the time, I was really mischievous. I got in trouble. I got kicked out of schools. And I couldn't realize it at the time. People be like, what's wrong with you? And I'd even look at myself like, I don't know, what's wrong with me, right? Do we need to get them a therapist? Do we need to, what's going on? Take me to church? I'm playing in the church. I'm running, I'm doing, but looking back now, unpacking some of that stuff, I really wanted to be loved. I really wanted attention. I really wanted to be safe. I wanted to feel safe. And acting became one of those outlets very early. So I remember doing class plays when I was in everything from like first grade on up. I would be in the theater program, right? Cutting up half the time. I'm doing WWF move, WWE.
not in the play.
In the play. Backstage, they like, you're not gonna make it on stage, right? Because you doing the most back here. You done kick somebody, hit them in the throat, But that's where I was getting some of that outlet. I was getting some of that release, right, of whatever was growing inside of me, and the validation and the love and the approval that I was looking for. I could get it in those ways while all the other time I'm acting out. So that happened all the way up until, truthfully, high school, where I started getting things together and realizing, oh, you know what, I'm all right at this. I'm pretty good at this. And I realized sports and a whole bunch of other stuff wasn't going to be, a professional pursuit for me. So that's when I really started realizing, wow, I would be doing, people would see me around Harlem. They'd be like, yo, commercial man, because one of my coaches had put me in connection with a couple of agents, and they had got me commercials and stuff. But I wanted to be in bigger films. I wanted to be in real. I thought I was Wesley Snipes. I thought I was.
You have to be.
I thought I was, but I wasn't.
Right.
But I was not
Right.
at all.
Yeah.
So I had to learn the craft, and I had to, find myself approved. Just looking at other people that was doing it, I realized, listen, if I'm gonna take it serious, I'm gonna have to get into a conservatory. I went to Howard University, came back, went to Neighborhood Playhouse in New York, National Black Theater Harlem. I was just a theater rat. I grew up in the Apollo Theater. So just learning and watching and seeing all of the great performers that came before us, I had I had like a first row seat to just watching everybody from the late James Brown to, I saw Michael Jackson perform, you know what I mean? Like I just got to see a lot of greats perform. And even though I'm not a musical artist, just watching how they go about being professional artists, it started crafting me in the background, So that's the beginning. That's the beginning. Went off to college, came back, and you guys know a lot of the LA story, but that was the beginning. Realizing that there was something that I wanted to connect to. I wanted to connect to people. I love an audience. I realized I only need an audience of one to perform, and that's that's my thrill. That's my passion. And we're at the place now where what does that passion do for your purpose, for your legacy? What do you want to leave with that passion?
That legacy is, that's, man, you reach a certain age where that's.
We're in that fortunate to be able to see things, to feel fulfilled enough to realize that it's more than just me fulfilling my own passions. That's a privilege. That's a privileged place that I'm in. I recognize that. I'm really grateful for that.
Yeah. It's funny you said fulfilling, because that's what I was going to ask. Like, when did you get to a place to where you felt you were being fulfilled in what you were doing? Like, whether it was, performing, or was it something else life-changing that made you feel like, okay, now this is the thing that I was missing, right? Because as little Amin, you said you felt like you were looking for love, right? Or wanting that. Did you necessarily find that, in performing, or did you find it later? Or is that what you're dealing with now? Like, how did that
I think it's an ongoing process, but I do realize that you're gonna learn your lessons in life. Like, I'm gonna teach you throughout whatever, and whatever you focused on, I'll be like, all right, I'll teach you the lessons through this. Y'all know me. You mentioned it earlier. like I'll put my head down and just, but there was a lot of lessons. There was a lot of maturity. There was a lot of, self-analyzing. And which still goes on, that because this is the craft that I'm focused on, because this is the life that I'm focused on, I'll pick up and move, thousands of miles away and not be able to get back to see all of the things that's happening in family. So I had to learn these things like, no, Amen, just because you're focused on this, that doesn't mean you're not going to learn lessons about family. You're going to learn lessons about were you able to show up or not, and that there's a sacrifice to having your head down, being goal oriented. Do you want all of your life to represent that? Do you have time to be married? Do you have time to be a husband? Do you have time to be a father? You want to repeat cycles that we've seen before where, I'm the father, I got the bread, I can put you into school, but I'm not the father that's attentive to hearing your insecurities at night before you go to bed, where you need to ramble off a lot. Am I too busy for that? So it's an ongoing thing where I'm learning still, but I'm appreciative that acting, this craft gave me something to focus on that I can learn all of these other lessons through, and it's still fulfilling me. Because that's another thing. It could be like, you know what, I'm good, I'm done. Yeah. But I still feel like I haven't tipped the tip of the iceberg on the type of portrayals, the type of love, the type of connection that I want to make with an audience, the love that I want to share, the community, the shared experience, the history. Man, there's just so much that,
Just getting started.
Man, we about to let's go.
Yeah,
about to get cracking.
Yeah.
We about to do this thing.
Before we get too far, you mentioned a divorce.
Who?
Your parents divorced when you was 5.
Yeah.
Who did you go with? Your mom?
I ended up going with my mom, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, because when you say, and it's just for me.
But then I got kicked out of school.
Okay.
Yeah. So I end up bringing when I was in. So my mother is from South Carolina. I ended up going to South Carolina, and then taking a gun to school, and they kicked me out of school.
What grade were you in?
I was like in the eighth grade, and then they kicked me out of school, and so I had to come back to New York to live with my pops, which was a really good thing for me. But you think about your mother, your mom, like, that's my baby. Where's my baby going? And of course, I was teen mom at the time, but I realized, retrospect, I needed the discipline. I needed sort of more of the firm hand, and it was just a different cycle that I needed. That a dad, boys need their fathers, especially in that teen, that preteen, teen. It's such a, it really teaches you how to be a man, teaches you how to be accountable. So
you
I
think the
needed
divorce had how do I put this? The separation between your parents had anything to do with your desire for attention? You get what I mean? Like with the two, you get what I'm saying? Yeah, that's what I, so
without a doubt.
I was trying to identify which parent he was with. And he pretty much answered it right there with saying that he went with his dad. And then I imagine that the discipline factor was even more after taking a gun to school, and now you having to make that. So now he's probably a concerned father, and now he got to tighten.
But all of that behavior kind of evaporate. I mean, you still had to talk back. You still have, it's one thing. It's what's really interesting about, especially boys in relationships with their dad. There's that testing out little, You're
gonna try them.
I might can beat the I think, you know what I mean?
In your mind.
In your mind, man. It's so beautiful because around that, 13, 14, looking back on it, I'm like, man, that was crazy.
I describe your dad for me. Tell me about your dad. That's what I want to see him now in my head.
My pops, all I remember is days where it's like, today's the day. I got him today. Today.
That was your
I'm
thought.
ready. Let's get him today. Right? And my pops, tell me to clean this room, right? Yeah, we're going to get these rooms off. Right? And I just remember my pop would come in the room, bro, and just, he would evaporate I don't
Take
know
the air
how
out
he
the room.
knew. Son, you know I love you, right?
Yeah, took all your energy, everything.
What you mean you love me, man?
Today was going to be the day.
Today's the day. I'm proud of you.
And you,
You got the tray in. Trying to get the baby boy.
I don't want to be loving, but I want to be mad, man.
I'm trying
I
to
want
boys
to
in
be
the
mad.
hood. I'm trying to get the boys in the hood off.
Yeah.
And you talking this, you deflating me, bro.
Right.
And you leave
that's
the
so
room
good.
and leave
Ay,
me
that's
with,
so good.
man, I'm loved.
Yeah.
Man is, all right, Amen. Get your act together.
It forced you to look at yourself.
Force you to look at yourself, and that's I just hope that for me, even as a parent, that I have those. You're not gonna get everything right, and people have to evolve and change and get lessons in their own time.
Yeah.
But I just pray that I'm always in tune enough, even when I'm not coherent of that I have a heart for the things that I don't maybe know to say, or maybe you want to, push a stern moment here, but it's really a moment of love, that acceptance that we talking about, that love. It was right there, even with the parents splitting, it was still there.
Yeah.
I have an amazing stepmother as well, so I was really getting loved all around, but it's hard, you come up in a place, you got friends, you're also inheriting their trauma and coming up in New York, it was pretty tough, the places that I lived. So it was difficult to brother, you got it good. You got some really good people.
And were you an only
that
child?
love you. I was the only child by my parents, but I have siblings through marriages.
Oh, okay.
Sister
But
and a brother.
living with you, like with your
mainly
dad.
growing up, I grew up by myself.
Oh,
yeah,
okay. So
yeah.
you were left alone with your thoughts a lot of times.
Oh yeah.
And
Which
believing
could
the
add
story.
to those.
Yeah, you believe the stories that you tell yourself, right?
Oh, I was victim.
Yeah, because that's what happens. A lot of times we will create a whole narrative, a whole story as a kid that we believe. Like I remember I used to write, and my daddy would just discipline me because I'm doing something I ain't got no business, whatever the case may be. But in my journal, I would be writing about how he is the worst father in the world. Like I would make up in my mind that he was so terrible. And y'all know I'm a daddy's girl. Like it's just in the moment you play the victim.
Yeah.
It's like it really ain't that bad. You just ain't doing what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, and you don't have the perspective. You don't have the.
You're not grown enough to understand their point of view and where they're coming from.
If someone give you something, and, like they would say, put a house and a home, put the clothes on your back, put the food. Of course, it's their fault, right? Of course, it's the person that's doing everything for you fault.
Yeah, they
That's-
doing it all.
That's but you come to at some point you get that realization, you get that place where I remember with my mother, it was just not to see her disappointed. That's still a fuel that fuel. It's still something that fuels me to not disappoint my mother, to make her proud.
That should be.
It's always
I don't
gonna
think that
be
should ever die.
that
just
thing
lives in
ain't gonna
there.
never go anywhere,
Yeah.
And also to be able to go back like, man, what amazing parents y'all were.
Yeah. And to tell them that.
Yeah.
To be able to tell them.
Yeah.
man.
Do you have those conversations now with your daddy now that you are a father?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's still, like I said, it's still, because I remember back then when my parents split, my dad mainly would be like, man, I'm gonna tear you up. And he's like, but why you go to that school and get them people them problems, right? And even now, sometimes he'll have moments and he's like, man, Amin, you were, oh, son, you son. And we've had to have like, yo, Pop, I was going through a lot at that time.
Yeah.
Felt abandoned.
Yeah.
Felt like, I was taking the side of my mom. Like, we gotta also unpack that because parents only see it from that way. Like, especially my dad didn't grow up with his father. So, it's these things that sometimes if you don't talk about them, people have their own way of seeing things. And unless let's check the files real quick, because even as a young kid, there was traumas that I was dealing with that I couldn't express. I didn't know why I was acting out, but I can look back now and go, maybe those are some of the things. And also, I think sometimes boys, we are reckless. We like to test boundaries. I think that is a part of being safe, part of being loved and protected is also the ability to test boundaries, the ability to see. But oftentimes, as parents, we're kind of like, no, the minute I get any disrespect, the minute somebody talk back, the minute someone's acting out, this is where I show up as a parent. But it's much more than that. And that's why I think the moments where he came to me and didn't come with the iron, fist were really impactful to me because I was looking for that. I know how you're going to show up. You're going to show up trying to, and I'm ready for that. And
I'm ready.
But it was the opposite.
Shook me.
Yeah. So as a man now, right, and a father and a husband, is there anything that you feel like you learned from your dad? Or is there anything that you feel like you had to unlearn? We got Father's Day coming up, so I figured,
know, right?
Why not have the conversation?
Unlearn. I'm going to be honest, not a lot of stuff to unlearn. If anything, there's the person that you want to, there's the way you want to be seen, right? I think the way I want to be seen with my children, I want to be seen loving. I want to be seen as an accepting. I want to be seen as someone that they could come to, that they could talk to about anything. I want to be seen as a strong man, giving an example. That's how I want to be seen. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's actually what I'm showing up as.
Yeah.
Right? Because I know the places.
Hey, Amin, you talking about something.
I don't know.
This is good.
I don't know.
About some stuff.
Mm-hmm. I know that's what I'm projecting. Mm-hmm. Right? I also know I might be in my phone, just want to see the game and the highlights. Mm-hmm. It's my little time on this couch. Mm-hmm. And then somebody's like, to see something that's, and it's like, ugh, let me get a minute.
Yeah.
Go in the bathroom for like 30 minutes. I need some time. And in those moments, not to say that we don't need those times, deserve those times, that ain't the point. The point is, it's going against what I've said that I am.
Yeah.
Right? And it's those moments where you kind of get up off like, oh man, let me show up to be who I say I am. Right? In my relationship with my father, I see so many of those situations where to put down the mask of like, I was a perfect dad and it's like, no, I was also a flawed guy. I also, had, whether that's infidelities, a divorce, the fact that I'm living in a different state, or it's just so many things that don't add up to perfect example. Mainly a good example is something that, to me, children and everyone else can deal in that nuance of like, that's why we usually say, man, someone did their best. Mm-hmm. So you saying that, you realize that there was flaws, but their intention and how they would go the extra mile to make something right even perhaps when they put us in a situation. That's, to me, bigger and better than just this person. Nobody's perfect. Nobody is always on. You just, to me, what I'm looking forward to do is when someone can come to me, just be open enough, not rigid so that someone can't come to me. Be open enough that someone can say, hey, you off there, and be able to take that from my child and not think of it as a situation of that they're going up against, this strong, perfect person that I've showed up in your life to be. It's a privilege for you to have a dad like me,
So, this is how I know God is real. This weekend, or last week, I was with Choice. Choice grown now, ain't
I know, bro.
He was talking about it
I
earlier.
just seen her on she went through my Explore page. And I
Hey.
said, who, babe?
She grown.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
She came to me,
Hey,
man.
she looking a lot like Tab these days.
Man,
Yep.
come on, man.
You
stop.
want you
Yep.
you all right?
Yep.
You
You
good?
do.
Hey, bro.
I know you took a lot of pride in that.
Yeah, he did.
She looking a lot like Tab these days.
Yep.
Mannerisms.
See what I'm saying? We was
All right,
having
bro. Go ahead. What you saying now?
childish.
Yeah.
She, to hear you talk about that, is over the last week, some stuff that I was dealing with internally with what you're talking about, how I want to be seen. There ain't no blueprint to it, hoping I got it right. And she confirmed that, she oftentimes does. At 22, she knows how to speak to me in a way and in my language to tell me, Dad, you're wrong about this, right? And she knows how to do it in a way that not even my wife. It's a way that not even my mom, that she can speak to me that I'm so thankful for. And it's not like in a way, it's not in a non-confrontational way.
Yeah.
We speak a language. We speak a language and have an understanding that's like, nah, I'm going to confront you on this because this is how you raised me. And I know how to confront you on it. And mommy, you feel me? Like she knows, and it's such a heartwarming feeling.
Yeah.
Even though I hate it,
It's the lessons. And we see that even in our heads.
it's like you,
Because you
I
know
want
you
to tell
raised
you,
them.
I want to tell you you're wrong, but you're right. And I'm embarrassed, and I got to deal with that right now, right? So I'm thankful for it. I say that, I just had to say that this is how I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
And that I know I'm on the back end of it. You got a little one. There is a time where the confirmation comes along, but even to me, that's confirmation that I'm heading in the right direction, right? That I have not been perfect, but I've been perfect enough as a father, by my definition, by what I wanted to be, that I'm raising another strong woman in my flaws, right?
Yeah.
You get what I mean? She came to me and she was like, Dad, it's not that you don't like it. It's that you don't like how it's being done. And you gotta stop dumbing it down. And you need to do X, Y. And she was just breaking me down.
Bust your joint down.
And I'm like,
You like,
and look, and I'm just like, taking them blows, but like, and looking at her like, man, how dare you tell me the truth, little girl, right?
Dare you tell me
with perspective,
Right.
And yes, so the other day I put something on socials after the the NAACP awards. I was up for an image award, and I ended up losing the nomination for Best Supporting Actor, and that's it.
Yeah.
I feel a little shocked.
You didn't have you had the right people in your corner.
yeah.
Hey, you catch me at 24 arguing for you, boy. You'd have been like, hey, boy, that boy could be an attorney.
Be your spokesperson.
So, that's, and in these vulnerable moments, there's learning lessons for you and the people close to you, right? How you show up on that. You soaking? What's up? Like, and it was really impactful that my daughter, I ended up catching her. I don't know what made me say it on on camera, but it was a moment where I said, you think Daddy should have won, and she was like, yeah. I was like, yeah, but sometimes you lose, and Daddy didn't win this.
Right.
Daddy not a winner.
Trying to be the cool,
And she said, well, you got to try again. Like sometimes you don't. she broke it down with a example from her life, and
At 6.
At 6. Yeah.
5 at the time.
At 5. Okay.
And she broke it down, and part of me is like, that's medicine for melancholy, but at the same time, I'm proud.
You won.
That's your win.
That's your win.
So
Yeah.
it's if we not open to let that ego down ego. Come on, perfect dude.
Yeah.
The mask that you got out here is perfect. The mask that there's no vulnerability or no fear, or that there's no, that you got the answers.
Yeah.
Like, I think these children can see we ain't got the answers.
Nah.
You ain't got the answers, Sway.
Nah.
But I'm dedicated to you. I'm gonna try to come up with the best thing that I possibly can.
And they don't know you don't have the answers. That's the thing about children. They believe what we tell them.
Yeah, that's true too.
And which is why I said the question was, is there anything you have to unlearn?
Yeah.
Right? Because sometimes they teach from a place of how they were taught, or circumstance that doesn't apply to you anymore once you become a man or a woman. And so I find myself unlearning. And my daughter is the one who brought that to my attention. Years ago, she was like, Mommy, I think that everybody, when they turn 18 and when they are out of their parents' house, the first thing they should do is start to unlearn everything that doesn't apply to their life. She told me that.
That's gangster.
And I said,
That's gangster.
Damn.
And I was like,
them little girls are the ones that are pulling
She
your heart
right.
out.
She a problem.
Yeah.
Choice is the truth.
I said, who are your
And
parents?
then she went, like, can I borrow some money? Like, No.
Right. And she
yeah.
the one that won't do it. She'll
do it,
be broke and you won't even know it.
That
She'll
was
be
me.
like,
That was one
I'm
of
not
those,
asking
too.
for nothing.
Yeah, I'm one of those.
But I mean, I think to your point, the ego, which we all have, man and woman, we all have an ego that either needs to be tamed, stroked, released, encouraged. I think the ego plays many different roles.
And sometimes all at the same time.
All at the same time. And sometimes the ego can make or break you, right? So have there ever been a time, I guess the question would be now, as a man and as a father and a husband, because how long you been married?
6 years.
6 years. Well,
7 almost.
yeah, well, the 7-year mark is when they say, "Oh, it's going to work. Oh, y'all going to keep
Yeah, I
on
hear
going."
that.
That's what they say.
I hear that.
Well, we 21 in.
Yeah,
so, but how has this season of your life changed your ego and the man that you are?
Hold on, I want to make sure I'm clear on the question. Season being
As a father,
as
as a
man.
husband, yeah.
How has the ego
Like
evolved?
how have you felt yourself shift? Because was it an overnight thing for you? Because some people say as soon as they saw their baby, as soon as they knew they were going to have a baby, like something started to change inside of them. But from a man's perspective, because I know you've said that before, but how do you feel like, it changed how you move and how you pursue life?
Definitely. And I think that's another thing that's still evolving. Like, there was maybe in the first, the pandemic, the pandemic was really insightful for me, because at the time I was in the middle of a really heavy work schedule. My wife is an executive and she has a crazier schedule than I do. And we had a 1.5-year-old, right? That we're just in this professional clicking all cylinders. But at the same time, there was a lot of two ships right? Because I may go to work early in the morning. She's off to the studios. The baby's in like the studio system of daycare. And by the time I get off set, I may go get a drink with someone, may have a meeting before I get home. Baby sleep. Wife is, barely, and then it's rinse, wash, repeat. So it wasn't until the pandemic in like March of 2020 where everything just stopped. And I had friends that found out that they didn't love their spouse during that time. I had friends that went through divorces. Might not have happened right then, but it was the beginning of it. They was like, oh, I don't really like to be around this person. So the first thing that I realized is, oh my goodness, I get a chance to be with my wife really intentionally and my daughter. Of course, we was going through this pandemic and all the fear and stuff that was going on with that, the uncertainty, right? Another place of vulnerability of like, oh, I can't even tell my family what's really going on right now.
Yeah.
It was a thing. But what was the main thing was, man, oh, this is what showing up every day. Really?
All day.
24/7 during this
Really?
lockdown together.
That's what it really is. I thought I was doing something. Brother. So for that next, whatever that was, 7 months, and still I got on and was one of the first guys back to work. But that time showed me a level of being aware, that attentive, that I never want to forget, So it's one of the things that, as you mentioned, what, the ego and, yeah, man, just working and doing your job and being a provider, like, that's cool, but that's not the mark for me. That's not the mark for me. Great if you could check that off on the ego paper of like you showed up, but I know there's a different intention I want to have, right? So that might mean volunteering at the school a little bit more. Oh, I feel a little crazy, but go on in there, brother. Be there, know the little gossip that my daughter's bringing home with her friends and be in there and know what it is and, give you a little advice and step out of there and just be more present is something that I had to learn through there, and I took it as a real learning lesson. And the same thing with my wife. Like, how long is the embrace of a hug? Or is it, gotta go?
Yeah.
It can't just be intentional at 10 at night.
Right.
Right? It can't just, all right, I done showered. It can't be
What about the rest of the day? Right. Where's the intimacy?
Where's the
I
intimacy?
put the lotion on all the key places.
Right?
Yeah.
What does it really take to show up? And I'm not gonna front. The pandemic, that's what it really gave me, and I was appreciative of that. Even with all the chaos, even with all the, that was something that I always go back and it just reminds me of, stay out your ego, that you got it going, because my marriage and, my family is one of the things I'm most proud of. Especially with this career and what people said you could have or couldn't have in this career. I'm not going to
Man, I'm
with
so
that.
happy to hear you say
And I used to not even mention this type of stuff. I'm not very open, because what's mine is mine, and that's like my thing, and I don't go spreading it out and giving it to people so that they could trample over what's something really important to me, because I don't know how I'd react if you did.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
So I'll be like, oh,
That other side gonna come out.
Yeah, I'd rather protect that. But, I am at that place where it's like, nah, man, it's amazing, man.
Yeah.
It's really amazing.
I'm so happy to hear that. Because they did say it. You know, being married to somebody who's in the industry.
It wasn't supposed to work. Let's just call it what it is. It ain't supposed to work. You
Yeah,
supposed to be.
We ain't still supposed to be together.
Y'all ain't supposed to be together.
Yeah, we ain't supposed to make it.
You supposed to be happy with just your success.
Yeah, and then once you do make it, it's supposed to end suddenly. It's supposed to be over with. You know what I mean? You ain't supposed to, you know, it's certain things that, so when I hear you say that.
You're supposed to let outside influences and people with perspectives on your life that you are indebted to in some way. You know?
Yeah.
Going back to that audience. So even part of me in this season right now for me of what does that look like? What am I still, what's the passion thing? What does attention look like now for me, right? What does an audience look like? What am I giving in return to an audience? That's changing a lot. It's changing based on the things.
I was going to ask you that. How do you show up now when you look at it?
It's changing. I don't know what it's turning into. I honestly don't. But
performance is even different.
It's all changing. It's what I would do and what I won't and why I do it. And it's the one thing I can say is the love of doing of performing, the love of this craft. That's not changing. That feeling, which I'm very happy about, because if that were gone, I would want to replace that feeling in some way. But it is all changing.
This would be now what I had y'all pause on off camera when he was talking about protecting his space, his time. So just so y'all know, Amin showed up for us today. Today was his daughter's kindergarten graduation. And he was, because we family, he showed up for us though, you know what I mean? But he was sharing with us that he's in a season of no. Is that safe to say? You know, that he's like taking time for himself. And now hearing you say what you value, I got a good it makes sense that, you know, you gotta have that time where you know I don't need to spread myself too thin and I don't need to be on go.
I mean, y'all know me. I used to I would pride myself on
jump at every opportunity.
Hustling.
I work more than everybody. It could be anywhere, anything. I'm gonna figure it out and make it work. But that served me. That served me
for that season.
But it's not. It's just not what I am. It's not the pace. It's not the same type of intention. You know, and I'm proud of that. It feels funny. It does feel funny, but now it pressures me to fill this time in being intentional. It to be silent and realize, what am I supposed to be filling this space with? To feel uncomfortable. And because again, it's easy to go, I know what I'm doing tomorrow. I'm waking up and here's a rigid box in which but when it's, no, you're gonna wake up tomorrow and be thankful and visualize what's next for you as you are in this moment. You're not 20 something coming out here to LA to make a name for yourself. Nah, man.
Now you got people carrying your name.
Man, right? That gotta love the you are now. You know? And be intentional about how you show up in life, for family, what's really important. It's really important that I see my mom more than twice a year, like when I was in grind mode. Because I realize that that's important to me, and I want to make as many memories as I possibly can. That's important. That don't go along with the energy of when I first came out here. It would be like, them things oh man, I booked something, so I can't come. You remember the whole thing? You booked something, and that's the way you know.
We booked out. We're not available.
If I book this flight home, more than likely I'm gonna book something here.
I'm gonna get an audition.
So then I take that off. But that's not the season now. The season now is whatever I book has to work along with the other places I need to show up in my life. That's just different for me. I ain't gonna hold
Yeah.
it.
That's
different
Oh, I'm
for
so
me.
proud to hear.
different.
It's a beautiful
That's
thing to
different.
see growth.
That's different. Very different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's amazing.
Yeah.
But well deserved, right? As you've done the work on yourself and in your journey, and we've seen you in different phases of your life, and so
Big time.
it is a beautiful thing to hear and witness. Although I would see flashes, I would hit you up.
Yeah. Oh, this one. I remember Tab hit me like, your wife, bro.
Mess your day up.
Bro,
Like,
but also, like, hey,
This is
Just
my
out the blue.
life. I have to be
yo,
obedient.
she like, hey, so you having a little boy? Huh? Because when she hit you with stuff, you never on the time, right? It's never like the same conversation you was just having with her. So you having a little boy? And I'm like, no. Move on to the next what we working on next, right? Hey, Tad. Months later, I mean, to the point where I forget that she even, because she don't lay it on you.
Yeah.
She always just,
I gently give it to you.
she'll allow you to be like, nah.
I ain't having no kids,
Right?
man. I ain't
What are you
doing
talking
tripping
about? I
right
ain't
now.
have
Don't
no
be
more.
putting
I
that on me
already
right
got
now.
one. I'm good.
Yeah.
And then you be like, oh,
She did say that.
she did. Hey, Tab. Yeah. She be like, yeah, I was waiting for it to come on. She be like, yeah, I was waiting for it to come on in. Yeah.
It's good
Waiting for you to catch up.
Yeah.
But that's even, that's amazing, man. Do you know that, because I was thinking about it, you might be I kind of figured it out. I've worked with you in pretty much every medium. I don't think I've ever worked with anyone in so many different mediums. So we've done stage plays together.
We have.
We've done television series together. We've done independent film together.
Dang, we have, Amin.
We've done short films together.
We
We
have.
have, yo, it's real talk. I was just thinking about it. I was like, yo, me and Tab really have. I haven't worked with anyone else in that many.
I forgot.
Now we in this space together. Now we need to do the studio feature film. I think that's maybe the last. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
We did web series together.
We did.
Like crazy. Pretty much every medium.
Yeah. Over the last
20
18
years.
years. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Hey, so what is
The
the one
old
you said
Tab.
y'all need to do together?
We
Like
need to
big
do a
budget
big
stuff.
budget
Big
feature
budget?
film.
Yeah.
So that means because I was here when you
Oh,
said
here
it.
you go. Here you go. Here you go. Chenzel right here. Here you go, Amin.
Man, 100% already.
I'm just saying.
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
gonna get it.
look, that
Yeah.
means that I get. Something
Hey,
right.
listen, it shall come to pass.
And then my
Anything.
brothers showed up for me. One of the things that's been wow, I think I've told you this before, but remember during Ahmaud Arbery, Trayvon,
Yep.
we dealing with Mike Brown. During that, I think this is 2000.
It was right at the height of all
It's like
that.
2016.
Yeah.
2016. You came in, and I had an organization at the time called the Awareness Movement. And I remember calling you up, vulnerable, like, hey, man, the dialogue between our community, law enforcement,
Yeah.
the greater community at large, the media, it's in shambles. And I need somebody to talk from the point of view, from your point of view, because I know you and I know what you stand for. And you came in, bruh, and people till today hit me talking about how impactful that was.
They do?
Like, what?
Wow.
Yo, bro. Matter of fact, the filmmaker that did To Live, Die Live, Qasim, he's somebody that often tells me about how, because we were raw. Everybody was raw.
Yeah.
at
I mean, it was
that
quite a
time,
few
brother.
people who
And it
were
was
really
packed in there,
Yeah,
emotional.
it was
Yeah.
packed. People were crying. People were, and I think you put a face and a heart, and you were very honest about. You were very honest about the interactions between law enforcement and
I had told
and the
everybody
community.
no. You weren't the first person to ask me to do that, but I had told everybody no, but because I knew you and I knew you meant well, and I knew you knew me, and you knew me as a human, as a person, as a black man, as opposed to law enforcement. Other people who were asking me, they didn't know that side of me, so I was a little concerned and didn't want to do it, but I'm glad to
people
hear.
were angry too, bro.
Yeah.
And he, you know what I mean? Like, yo, you.
He
Yeah,
also
that
don't
was
show-
really
he
that
didn't
was
show
so.
up as like a cop.
He did not.
It's like you get to
He
see
showed
like,
up
oh,
a
this is
chance.
a
He showed
black
up his
man.
chance.
Yeah.
And one of the things that was so impactful, and I took this away from it, when you mentioned, y'all gotta realize I gotta go home too.
Yeah.
He said, I gotta go home to my family.
Yeah.
And it just, I think for a lot of people, it kind of like, oh,
Yeah.
because people want to see, us in the box of actor, law enforcement, the community, the culture. But we're so multifaceted. We're so much more than that. And when you mentioned that I have to go home too. You mentioned, I get stopped.
Yeah.
You're a black man first.
Yeah, I get stopped. It was just really impactful. I always want to appreciate you for doing that. That was
No, I appreciate you for
Especially at
asking
that
me
time,
and for
boy, that was
reminding me. Yeah, you know what, I walked away from it like I do so many other things. Like, man, I hope I got the message across. I hope that it was helpful. So to hear that the people,
No, it was.
I'm
People still
glad.
hit me to that day, and even when I look at, when I look at our work, when I look at scripts, and I'm looking for something that has real ethos to it, a complete story, it always takes me back to that, especially with law enforcement. It's like, this might not be nuanced. It's not as nuanced as it needs to be.
Yeah.
There's not enough. This is just two-dimensional here.
Yeah.
It's not really a three-dimensional
Man, I'm
look at
glad.
someone's
He
life.
might ask for 10%
No.
on that
I
if
make sure.
if you're using it.
Make sure I didn't use no names, and he ain't getting no bread. He ain't getting no bread. You here to be used.
Hey, man,
We gonna use.
I was
Just gonna let him go.
I was just waiting so we could catch it all on camera. Hey, bro, you owe me, right?
No,
but I'm glad. I appreciate that, man. I received
for real.
it. I do.
It
I
was
received
really
it. That
impactful.
that was a big moment, and I'll tap into that sometimes when people ask me to do it. Depending on the crowd, I do it. But you got to see me, the flawed man. You got to see what we was going back to what we were talking about earlier about making sure you understand. I'm a human, I'm flawed, I'm a father, there's so many different things that make me. But if you just come in and all you know me as or recognize me as, that's the dude that was a cop, I can't do it.
Yeah, no.
Because when I say something,
It's gonna trigger.
all you gonna do is judge me on the fact that he's supposed to be a cop.
Yeah.
No, but you ain't gonna know. Nah, man, I'm from the South. My dialect is different. I come from a little bit of hood, right? It's a whole lot of moving pieces that if you choose to relate to it or choose to see me, you can see me, and then what I'm saying ain't so harsh. I remember saying in there about there being a gray area. I said there's a right, there's a wrong, and then there's a gray area, and unfortunately the majority of law is right here in this gray area. And I remember how shocking that was to the crowd.
And how systems are set up to protect in that gray area.
In that gray area.
And
I
remember, brother. It was impactful.
Yeah, and
it was really impactful.
But if all you think is, but you're supposed to be the police officer, and you can't see the black man and hear me and understand when I tell you, I'm in an environment where most people, their fathers were either in the military or police officers before me. I don't have none of that. I came out here and it was a career path, and I was subject to the same stuff y'all was. They didn't welcome me with open arms.
Right. So get done.
You feel me? They didn't say, "Come on." Right. they
was like, "You want this?"
Yeah, and I'm in here learning it and trying to learn it for the benefit of us, and I've tried to maneuver and be open and honest, and sometimes the truth hurts. And if that's the only way I can get it out, that's the only way I can get it out. I got to tell y'all how I can tell y'all, right?
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? So, yeah, I'm glad to hear it, man.
Yeah.
I really am. I'm glad to hear it.
Absolutely.
The community can always use that.
Yeah.
Well, honey, this has been like, I mean, I know we went through so many emotions, which is really what we wanted. Is anything else you want to leave us with before we close it out?
I just love y'all, man. You know what
Yeah,
it is. This is it's fun doing this on camera, but truthfully, get on out of here. I love my folks, and just to be with y'all and to, you know, in a way, you know, just reminisce and also project of, you know, bringing new things into fruition. It's just, man, seeing the families grow. Man, listen, even Blackie, man.
He under here somewhere, I'm
Blackie,
sure. Yeah.
you know, Blackie was growling when I came. Like, Blackie, don't
Blackie said he had on all black, and Blackie was like, wait a minute.
Blackie,
I
know you, Blackie. Like, don't even. I know you was a pup.
I do want to say thank you though, because he said something earlier that I can relate to, and that from knowing Amin, he talking about evolving and all of that. But this dude has always been very private. To share in the way that he did on our platform, I can feel the love. I can feel the appreciation for us. I just would like to say,
this is a safe space.
Yeah, because this dude, listen, Amin ain't his thing. Right. And as a man and as a father, you know, and as a husband, I can relate to that. It's like, well, hey, look, I don't know how I'm gonna respond when y'all say something about my wife I don't like.
Right.
And you put, and most times with these social media platforms and how we're doing this, you opening up your life for people to say stuff, right?
Yeah.
So when he said that, I said, I'm gonna make a mental note to come back and say thank you to this man.
Thank you, bro.
Because I get.
But that's
really
y'all are only, you know, like I said, a lot of people hit me, and you know, I do the rounds. I've done the rounds, of course, during when you're promoting something, a project or whatnot. But to come in my time, it's my time, right? I ain't got to do it for, you know, for PR or anything.
Right.
Yeah.
But to sit down with my folks, it's the respect for how you've always been. These people ain't code switching.
Please tell them
ain't
again.
No code
switching. I'm free now.
These are my folks. They've always been like this, and it's just beautiful to just see God doing God.
He is definitely doing God. And so we're grateful for you, but so proud of you. Keep on doing it. Next time you have to come, you got to bring your wife.
Yeah, definitely.
And all the things.
Yeah, she's a real one.
Yeah.
She the one, man.
You have to have the marriage conversation.
Yeah.
Y'all hit that 7-year mark.
Come on. I don't know what the 7-year thing is.
Okay, I don't know either.
I don't like the...
It's like a whole thing that
is it really?
Yeah, it's like I guess like a old not.
Did y'all know it? Did it feel like
just
something?
Hear it, but
to me it's like a birthday. Like how you feel on your birthday? Like I feel the same. I'm good. I'm on the right track.
I don't focus on none of that stuff.
Yeah, I'm on the right track.
It's literally all like jokes and love, but you know people say it and it's just like, oh y'all say, oh yeah, y'all all right. But yeah, no, we 26 years together, 21 married.
Come on.
Love each other. Like each other. Some days you like, I don't really like you. Some days it's like, I want to keep on kicking it with you.
Yeah.
That's marriage, beautiful. Right? So
beautiful.
I would love to have both of y'all come and sit and share and all the things. But again, we thank you. We thank all of y'all for watching. Again, Amin Joseph. Support him. If y'all see him in anything, make sure y'all check it out. All right, give him all the love and things. And until next time, honey, y'all going about y'all business, all right? Have the most amazing day. But even if you can't have a good one, don't you dare go messing up nobody else's here. Love y'all. God bless you.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching this episode, honey. And if you liked it, go ahead and click right here for more of those episodes.
And if you haven't already subscribed, please remember to do so.
Very good.